Hi, it's been over 2 years since I posted on YouTube my videos of the asbestos problem in the Gritty Grotto at the U of M. Many people have been asking what's been done since then. Aside from putting up a chain link fence to keep the public out of the mud, not much. Oh, us workers are also being well trained to make the university a safer place. I just wrote an exam on due diligence in the workplace, which happens to be your biggest school. I got 100% on my test. The last question on the test asks, is an act of omission, that is, not acting when you see someone behaving in an unsafe manner, unlawful, according to the Workplace Safety and Health Act? The answer? Yes, you bet it is. Now, have I done my due diligence by posting the videos that I did? And if I was right, would they continue to do nothing? By they, I mean the U of M, Workplace Safety and Health, and all the politicians I have talked to, including CAW. Yeah, CAW has even put out on their website something called Pure White Asbestos, the War on Asbestos. And in those pages they have a section, University of Manitoba, a nightmare waiting to happen. It's got some pictures of asbestos on campus in some spots, and 3 pages of a write-up about how bad it is and how somebody should do something. Seems they know. Am I crazy and disgruntled? In a couple of years, and I mean 1 or 2 years, there will be handheld background sensors on the market using molecular amplifying technology that will show asbestos is everywhere on campus. Will the lawyers then say it's my fault because of an act of omission? All I can do is show you what I see beyond the facade of environmental health and safety on campus and our government office, Workplace Safety and Health. All who know the very same problems that I'm going to show you. So, come on my magical misery tour and decide for yourself. So, down at the Frank Kennedy running track again, a year later. And people are still running around. There's children down in the track from Mini University playing. I see there. Kids playing, people running around the track, and it looks like all they've done is put a chain link fence up, keep people out of the mud here. But the mud's still all there, and the asbestos is still in it. People are working in here. You can see all the plastic laid down. That's their safety. That's their safety program. We'll put some plastic down so we don't disturb the asbestos that's lying all over the mud. But for every bit of work that's done in here, that dust is pushed out into that track where people run and kids play. So basically that's what they've done in the past year about the asbestos situation at the Gritty Grotto running track, is put up a kind of a new fence all the way around the track so people can't look or come into the mud here, but not preventing anybody from working in here. In fact, they have been doing quite a bit of work in here. They're putting plastic down on the mud, and I guess that's what the safety office told them was prudent. But even putting that plastic down on the mud pushes that air full of dust out into the track. Down here, this is the back of the mechanical room in Engineering 3 where the air handlers are, where the air comes in and is either heated or cooled. And this is the duct, this is the fresh air duct where the air comes into the building. That blue lagging is put on there because there's asbestos underneath there and they want to keep it from getting out into the air. Now instead of removing it, they just leave it like this, and every time there's a renovation or work done in here, you can see in the corner where it's kind of hard to see, but it gets ripped, nobody fixes it, and it gets introduced into the airstream. There's a rip right there at the bottom of this air duct. And oh look, that's asbestos on the ground there. It's very loose and it can get introduced easily into the airstream here because this is a mixing room. Anything that's in this air gets put back into the building airstream. So, bring you a little closer. That's asbestos in there. As with a lot of the air intake ducts on campus here. And you got it on the floor here, where it can get stepped on and further pulverized, put into the airstream. See, the big problem here that nobody's really talking about is the fact that all this duct that has that asbestos on it and where it's breaking off has never been abated properly and is kind of breaking off. There's that blue parging on that ductwork again. And this is a walkway where people walk through, and that stuff is on the ground down there. That's where that rip was, on the corner down there. And there's a lot more around the back. And there's more up on top of that scaffold above it there. But the biggest problem here is this is an air handling room. That means anything in this room ends up in these big air handlers here that are the size of trains and goes through these ducts out into the building air system. And that is the biggest problem with this place, is that there's too much asbestos where the air movement machinery is. Nobody is abating it properly. Nobody is telling the contractors or the workers to be careful with this stuff. I mean, sure, they all take these asbestos awareness courses and stuff, but then they just rebuilt this room. There's no abatement done. It's on the floor. It's trampled around. So what does it matter what kind of courses you take when this is the way you go ahead and treat these areas? This stuff needs to be removed from these rooms. It just can't be in here. This is the E3 mechanical room that we were just down in looking at the ducts. And it's unfortunate, but these little signs don't really tell the whole truth, do they? They make it sound like it's just there underneath something, and if you disturb it, then it'll only be there. But the sad fact is that if you touch it, it's going everywhere, because that is a mixing room, air mixing room. This is another room that's I know about, a few people know about, and it's a really bad one. I've even talked about this one before. This is in tier building. This mechanical room is an air return. There's a big fan in behind all this stuff, returning all the air that's in the hallways and coming down through shafts. So anything in this room that gets disturbed ends back up in the airstream. Most of that insulation on the older pipes, all of that older looking crap, that's all asbestos insulation. Fiberglass and asbestos. The really bad thing about the ducts in this area is they mixed in asbestos with the fiberglass insulation. So it looks like fiberglass, but it's got chunks of, microscopic pieces of asbestos in it. I can show you that around the back here. Some of this stuff is newer, it's fiberglass, but a lot of the stuff it ties into, a lot of the old stuff is asbestos. Nothing, it doesn't get removed, we just work around it all the time. All that old air duct. We work around it and then it ends up, crap on the floor from up there, from working.